All right, fantastic. So welcome everybody to Coffee with Markus. Today is Monday, June 1st, and this is episode 48 of Coffee with Markus. Now, if you want practical tips, tricks, and strategies for your trading, as well as watching me as I grow small accounts into larger ones, then this show is for you. Today is Monday. I hope that you had a great weekend. So today we're going to talk about what is happening in the markets, what to expect this week, and also about stocks versus options. Just want to make sure that you can hear me, that you can see me, because today we are dual broadcasting again to YouTube and to Facebook. So you can watch this show now on YouTube and on Facebook as well. All right, the team is telling me that we are solid here, so that is fantastic. Okay, let's not waste any time. There were lots of news this weekend, and let's jump onto the charts right away. So here's where you see what is happening in the markets. The Dow Jones right now slightly up 0.4%. The S&P 500 up 0.4%. And the NASDAQ up 0.45%. So all within a very short range, within a very small range. So what has happened here over the weekend? Well, as you know, there's lots of news. There were protests in many cities this weekend after George Floyd died. And many of the protests are peaceful, but unfortunately, there's also a lot of violence. And this morning, markets were concerned. You see, we are just trying to get out of very challenging times. Unemployment is still super high. People are still worried about getting sick, and now we have to worry about violence too. So you see, if we switch to a 5-minute chart here, you'll see that this morning markets did open lower about concerns about this. But as you can see, market participants were shrugging it off, and since there's no major news here, it seems that we are drifting higher, because this is what markets do, right? I mean, markets look for reasons to go higher. Traders, by default, are optimists. I just realized that I forgot to start my timer, but I promise that I will keep it to 5 minutes or less. Now, what is very interesting here, and I promise to start the timer the next time, that the NASDAQ is almost at all-time highs again. You see, NASDAQ recovered very, very quickly. The S&P 500 and the Dow are a little bit lagging, but we are right now trading at levels that we haven't been trading at since February 24th, and right now is June 1st. So, but let's take a look at the economic calendar to see what to expect this week. And as you can see, it is a pretty light economic calendar. So this morning, ISM manufacturing PMI was released. It was worse than expected, but hey, we already know this, right? We already know that our economy is still struggling because we had to shut down the economy due to this pandemic that was going on. There are the G7 meetings going on Wednesday. And then the big one this week will be the unemployment rate on Friday. So on Friday, the unemployment rate for May will be released. It's expected to be at 19.5%. But just looking here at the economic calendar, I don't see anything on there that is moving the market. So right now, all eyes of traders, since we don't have major economic reports here, since we don't have really any companies reporting earnings, we're still a month away from companies reporting earnings again. I believe that this week, the main focus will be on the US-China relationship and see if there are any tensions that is going on, as well as keeping an eye on the protests and the unrest that are going on, especially those that are the violent ones. Okay, anyhow, so very interesting though today. Here's what I found interesting, and I hope that you find it interesting too. Tesla today skyrocketing 7%. Why is this? Why is Tesla skyrocketing? Now, talking about skyrocketing, this weekend we also had the SpaceX launch. I mean, this were for the first time ever, the US sent astronauts into space with a private company. Now, as you know, SpaceX is Elon Musk's company as well as Tesla. There is no major news this morning or today that might cause Tesla to move higher. It seems that everybody is just excited about what happened as SpaceX, as astronauts were being launched into space and successfully docked at the ISS. By the way, I don't know, did you watch it live? If you watched it live, leave a comment below. I did watch it live, and it was really, really fascinating. I mean, the launch was amazing. I had goosebumps all over, that's for sure. Now, on Sunday, I also watched the docking. And the docking was pretty cool, but then, oh my gosh, it took them forever and a day to open the hatch to equalize the pressure here, right? You remember? And then after what, 3 hours? I think it took 3 hours after docking until everything was stabilized here. This is when the two American astronauts came into the ISS, and one of them, I believe his name was Bob Hurley, bumped his head really, really bad. And you see, these are the pictures that went around the world. This taken directly from NASA here, and he's holding his head because as he was flying in, he really bumped his head, obviously badly. I don't know if it was bleeding, was hard to see here. Anyhow, this poor guy, while there were VIPs congratulating everybody, he was rubbing his head because it got really bruised badly, I think. Anyhow, so this is what's going on in Tesla. This today is skyrocketing 7% based on nothing. Okay, anyhow, so this is what's going on in the markets. This is what I'm expecting to happen here this week. Now let me ask you, is this making sense thus far? Is this helpful also to give you the brief overview? Because if it is, do me a favor and click on like really quick, because in a moment I will tell you talk about stocks versus options. It's a question that I get all the time. What should I trade? Should I trade stocks or should I trade options? So we're going to talk about this. But yeah, I see that many of you did watch the launch and that it was really cool. And yeah, James says it was awesome to see America get into space on our own. Yeah, we had to hitchhike with Russians, right? As you know, over the past 8 years. 9 years, I believe it was in 2011, since we stopped the program. And yeah, subsonic flight training. I mean, the name says it. You bet I watched it. So good to see everybody here. Mike is asking, why is the market going up? Who cares exactly? Trade what you see, not what you think. I mean, I just showed you the unemployment is expected to be almost 20%. And yes, the market is going higher. Unbelievable. Can't fight it. I mean, traders are optimists by nature, and you see the natural way for the market to go is up, unless something like, obviously, the pandemic is hitting us, then we're going down. Okay. So, yeah, Wayne says, holy cow, love was up 13% at one point. With everything that is going on in the USA, perhaps love will prevail. That is a great comment, Wayne. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. So good. Keep your likes and the comments coming. Really appreciate it. But now let's actually talk about trading stocks versus options. And I want to prepare something here really quick. Before you do this, you know what? Since many of you were in the live trading this morning, so just want to give you a quick recap of what happened here. Let me share my desktop. So this morning, for those of you who decided to join the PowerX Optimizer Masterclass, we had a special going on. As you know, we had the PowerX Optimizer on sale, and with this a masterclass. So we entered two positions, Love and INSW, and they're still nicely up. We also entered TVTY just a few minutes ago. Right now down $27. But you see all the stop losses and profit targets are in place, and so far so good. I mean, Love moving up nicely. Wayne just said it, and INSW as well. TVTY, we'll see where we are at the end of the day. Anyhow, so this is what has been going on. Okay, let me come back to you full screen for a moment and actually bring up my handy dandy notepad, so that we can talk about trading stocks versus options. And I'm cutting this segment, so I'll make it also possible for Asia to edit this out, because I believe it's very important, and I want to give you very practical examples. All right, so stocks versus options. What should you trade? What is better? Is it better to trade stocks, or is it better to trade options? That's what we're going to talk about today, and I will show you practical examples from trades that occurred today. So let me jump onto the desktop, and I prepared a little notepad here for you where we talk about trading stocks and options. Now, I want to use an account size of $20,000 as an example here, where I'm comparing whether it is better on an account size like $10,000 or $20,000 to trade stocks versus options. Now, depending on your account size, just multiply the numbers that I'm showing you in a moment by whatever your account size is, and you'll get the idea. So the idea is, on an account of $20,000, we want to risk 2% of the account, which is $400, not more. Now, as we're comparing stocks and options, here are the things that I want to compare. First of all, I want to write down how much we are risking trading options versus trading stocks. I also want to write down the reward. How much are we planning to make on the stock or the option? Based on this, I want to write down the risk-reward ratio. Here we go. And also, very, very important, the buying power. Now, what is the buying power? The buying power is the amount of your account that you need to reserve for this trade. It is not the risk, and you'll see this in just a moment. So let's take a look at some very specific trades that happened here this morning. So the first trade that I want to bring up is INSW. So let me just show you what happened. So this morning on the PowerX Optimizer, INSW came up as a trade as a buy to open. And the idea here is that we are buying 239 shares based on a $20,000 account at $22.84. So this is where our risk, as you can see, our stop loss here is $1.67, and we are trading 239 shares. Here, I want to keep it a little bit easier for all of us with the math. So we're trading 240 shares. So 240, I don't know how to abbreviate it, shares, you get the idea. So what is our risk? This is where we bring up our handy dandy calculator here. So bring up the calculator. Per one share, we are risking $1.67, and we are trading 240 shares, meaning that our risk is exactly $400.80. So here, let's just round it to $401. Now, what is the potential reward that we are looking for? So here we're looking for a reward of $8.62 per share. Now again, bringing up our handy dandy calculator, $8.62 times 240 shares. So we're looking to make $2,069. So we're putting this into our table, $2,069. So the risk and reward ratio here, PowerX Optimizer is calculating it, it's 1 to 5.16. So let's just say 1 to 5.2. So 1 to 5.2. And here is the buying power that we need out of our account. Again, we are buying 240 shares, bringing up our handy dandy calculator, and the cost per one share is $22.84. So we need $5,482. Let me just bring this up here again in buying power. So this is how much our buying power will be reduced when we enter the trade. Now, let me ask you, is this making sense thus far? Just so that you know what happens when you're trading the stock. And again, we are trying to risk around 2% of the account here, $401. Now, let's take a look at the option here. And let me just see, it should be able to just enter another row. At least this was the plan. Let me just see if I can easily add another row to the table. Probably not. Yeah, like this. We're adding another 2 rows. There we go. Okay. So if we are looking at the option, if we want to trade the option instead of the stock, here is what we are looking at. So I prefer to trade the ITM. We'll make another video on the difference between ITM and ATM. But here we're talking about the 2250 call. And you see that the risk is $172 per one option. So if we want to risk overall $400, we're dividing this by 172, means that we can actually trade 2 options. So let's write this down. So INSW, the option, we can trade 2 of them. Now I should probably write it this way. two options. And here we would trade for 240 shares. Again, per one option, the risk that PowerX Optimizer is calculating for us, it's $172 times 2, so we would risk $344 trading the option. So we're risking a little bit less, and this is just based on the price of the option. Now, in terms of the reward, we're looking to make $6.80, and again, this is where we're going back to our calculator. And again, $6.80. Oops. I want to bring down the calculator. $6.80. It's $680 per one option. And we are trading two options, meaning that if this trade works out, we are making at least $1,360. Now, as you can see, we're making a little bit less. So let's take a look at the risk reward, which PowerX Optimizer is calculating for us. So the risk reward is slightly lower. It's 123.95. So let's write this down here. It's 123.95. We're rounding it up, so it's 1240. So as you can see, the risk reward ratio when trading the option is slightly worse, but here's the deal. What is the buying power that we need for this? The buying power that the broker will deduct from our overall buying power in the account is our entry price. So here we're trying to enter at $2.16. We can round it up to $2.20. And since we are trading two options, this means that our buying power is $440. Can you already see what the difference is between trading stocks and trading options? Your buying power is less than 10%. Now keep in mind, the buying power is not what you're risking. The buying power is just how much of your $20,000 is being held in reserve for this particular trade. So you can't use this money anymore. So if you trade the stock, you would still have around $14,500 left. However, if you're trading the option, you still have $19,500 left. Is this making sense thus far? And would you like to see another example? I want to make sure that this video is not getting too long, but I thought it would be helpful to show you one more example of another stock versus the option. If you would like to see another example, do me a favor and click on like really quick, or just leave a comment and say another example, and I'll be happy to show you another example of a trade that occurred today, that we were looking at today. Okay, so it seems that yes, you would like to see another example. Thanks for the likes, thanks for the comments, appreciate it. So let's take a look actually, and I have to expand the table by another 2 rows, so we are going for a total of 6 rows. There we go. So the other trade that I want to show you is Love. Actually, is this a trade that we were looking at this morning? I believe so. But for Love, the bid and ask was too high to trade this. So actually, let's still do it, because I just want to show you mainly the difference between stocks and options. So Love right here. Or let's take a look at let's actually use this one. Let's use TVTY, because we just got into this and we don't have a high bid ask. Okay, perfect. So let me bring up this. We're looking at TVTY. This was another trade. And here we wanted to trade 392 shares. So let's just round it up to 400. Okay, so here we would trade 400 shares. You get the idea. Now let's take a look at the risk first. So the risk, to bring up the calculator here, is $1.02 per one share. So we're taking $1.02 times 400 shares, means that we would risk $408, which is still within our parameters. You know, we were planning to risk around 400, so here it would be a little bit more. It would be 408. Now, if this trade works out, here is what the reward would be. So the reward is $5.61. That's how much we are trying to make on this trade. So we're bringing up the calculator, and we take the $5.62 times 400 shares. So we are trying to make $2,440 $2,248. I'm sliding the calculator over here. Might be a little bit easier. So $2,248. So the risk and reward, if we look at this, is 125.5. So again, bring it up. 125.5. Now here is the buying power that we need. TVTY is trading at $11.30. So this were again $11.30 times 400 shares. So we need $4,520 in buying power. Okay, so we're writing this down there, $4,520 in buying power. Again, not a big deal. If you're trading a $20,000 account, it will be reduced and you have less money to trade right now, around $15,500. Very, very, very important. This is not the risk. This here is the buying power that is needed. Our risk is $408. Now let's take a look at the options tab. And our risk here per one option is $141. So if we want to risk overall $400, we're dividing it by 141. It's 2.83. Now, in order to make it a little bit easier to compare apples with apples here, I am actually saying that we would trade 3 options. Okay, so we are trading 3 options. And what did we just say? $141 is what we are risking per one option. So 141 times 3, it's a little bit more than our 400, but I think we're still okay here. So we would risk $423. Now the potential reward per one option is $444. So this is where we take 444 times 3. And again, this is where we are looking at $1,333. Again, as you can see, the risk-reward ratio here is worse than if we would trade the stock. It is 1 to 3.15. So we are rounding it again to 1.32. So again, it would be better to trade the stock, but you're using quite a lot of your buying power. For the option, all you need, all that is reduced, is your entry price. And the entry price, it's $2.47. So let's say $2.50 times 3 is $750. Is this making sense? So you see, you need less buying power, yeah, but also you have a smaller reward. But this is why I say usually on a smaller account, it makes sense to trade options instead of stocks. Now, the other important thing that I will write down here in a moment, especially when you trade a retirement account, you don't get a margin account there, so you cannot leverage your the money that you have in the account, and you cannot short stocks. So let's write this down, because I do believe that this is important. So in the US, at least in a retirement account, you cannot short stocks. However, what you can do in a retirement account, you can trade put options. And with put options, you can bet on a falling market. So this brings me back to the question, what is better, trading stocks or trading options? Well, this is why I wanted to show you a direct comparison using a real life example so that you see exactly when it is more advantageous to trade stocks, when it is more advantageous to trade options. Long story short, often for smaller accounts, since you use less buying power, it makes more sense to trade options, but now you know exactly. You have a direct comparison between stocks and options, so that hopefully it helps you, that you can decide what is better for you. Anyhow, if you're enjoying this, make sure that you hit like and also consider subscribing to this channel. Also, there's a few other videos, hopefully right now, popping up on your screen. These are the videos that I made for you. Just click on one of the videos that you like best, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, good. So we got this little segment. Was this helpful so that you see the difference between stocks and options? Because I know that sometimes you asked about it, and I want to show you exactly. I want to actually go through the questions here and make sure that I answer as many of your questions that you might have had around trading stocks and options here. Okay. Good. So Zia says, I don't like to pay premium, so I prefer to buy stocks instead of options. I don't need leverage because I have a large account, but I like to sell options. Zia, great comment. You see, for larger accounts, it absolutely makes sense to trade stocks. So I recommend if you have an account larger than 100,000, it does make sense to trade stocks. Usually you get a better risk to reward ratio, and buying power doesn't really matter for you if you have a larger accounts. Okay, good. So Colby is asking, for options, do you recommend eyeballing the profit target and stop loss, or actually enter the limit and stop orders based upon the PXO parameters? Very great question and very important. When you are trading options, you always watch the stock. And when the stock hits the profit target, then you sell the option. So the values that the PowerX Optimizer provides are just best guesses based on the binomial model. They're conservative guesses. Usually you will achieve better results than you see here. But hey, you need to have some sort of information that you know how many options you can trade, right? So always watch the stock. Oh, before we answer more questions, I know that that some of you left some feedback, and I really appreciate it. I told you, if you're leaving feedback, I want to thank you. I want to send you a small token of my appreciation, because you're taking time out of your busy day, right, to write your opinion of what happens here when you're watching the show or with our products and service. So if your name is coming up on the screen right now, please send your address to nicole@rockwelltrading.com, and Nicole will send you something from me as a thank you for taking the time out of your day to share your experience. So really good. Okay. Anyhow, Johnny, Wayne, Junior, I mean, you see, there are many places where you can leave feedback, whether it is on Amazon or on Google or on Facebook, on Trustpilot, SiteJabber. So appreciate all of you who left feedback here. I'll show you, if you want to leave feedback, where to do this, and then we go back to answering more questions. So if you saw your name on this list, please contact nicole@rockwelltrading.com. Send her your mailing address so that I can send you something in the physical mail. It seems that there are some problems with PO boxes, so just give me your real address. I promise that I won't show up. And even if, then we could have a coffee together, right? After all, it's called Coffee with Markus. Anyhow, so thank you very much for your feedback. If you would like to go leave some feedback, go to rockwelltrading.com/feedback, and this is where you have an opportunity to share your experience with our company, with me, with our products and services. Anyhow, good. Let's actually talk about a few more questions. So we talked about Colby's question here. And Colby, you're absolutely right. There's another comment. Buying power is not risk, but it tie up your capital. Exactly. That's exactly what it does. And again, if you have a larger account, it might not matter. If you have a smaller account, you see with 2 positions here, if you're not using a margin account with 2 positions, you're already tying up half of the account that you have. Now, as you know, right now I am trading an account more aggressively. I am currently in 12 positions. It's a small $20,000 account, and because it is a smaller account and I'm actually over trading it a little bit, that's why I decided to trade options on this account. Now, on my larger account, I trade stocks, but for this one, which I want to grow rather aggressively here, that is at least my plan. That's why I'm trading options, so that I'm not limited by my buying power. Okay, great question, great comment here. Okay, good. So Michael is asking, what about trading shares on leverage, so-called CFDs? I know, Michael, that CFDs are very popular in Europe, and I believe also in Asia. They're not here in the United States. So here in the United States, it makes more sense to trade actually options. Now, word of caution here, when you're trading CFDs, please be aware that you're trading against the house. You are trading against your brokers. CFDs are not, they're not being traded at an exchange. It is just an instrument that's offered by your broker, and Hey, I don't know about you, but when I know that I'm trading against the house, I like to stay away from this, because what do you think? Who wins in the long run? The house or the trader? Usually the house, right? So this is why it's not very popular in the United States. I do believe it is not even legal in the United States because, again, the broker always wins. So Frank said another example. Okay, great. So I gave you another example. Appreciate all the comments here. Wayne is asking, but when you buy on margin, it is not a whole lot less work and less to monitor to just trade the stock. So very good comment. When you trade on margin, Wayne and everybody else, let me just get this out of the background here, and we probably don't need this. So if you put $20,000 in an account, if you are trading a margin account, usually the broker lends you another $20,000, so you now have $40,000 buying power. But that's it, right? I mean, if you are with the broker for a longer time, he might actually increase the leverage and give you a 4-to-1 leverage, but usually it is 2-to-1. So with the margin account, you are getting twice the buying power, but even then, right now, you're already using up 25% of your account. Again, if you're sticking to only trading 5 positions at any given time, that is not a problem at all. But if you choose to trade 10 positions, you might run into a problem even if you're trading on a margin account. Is this making sense, Wayne? I mean, great comment. So again, I'm just showing you, I'm not making the decision for you. You're taking this information and then you make your own decision. I just want to help you to make the decision and want to make sure that you know what is behind stocks, options, buying power, risk and reward, so that you can make an informed decision. Okay. Good. All right. So Cindy, the strike and expiration date of INSW, please. It's actually PowerX Optimizer gives it to you right away. So INSW, you see it right here. If you go to the options tab, PowerX Optimizer, it is the 7/17 expiration and the 2250 strike. So you have it here right under the options tab. So super easy to find. Anyhow, hope that helps, Cindy. Good. Diego says, I'm so confused. I'm so sorry, Diego. If this is your first time here, by the way, it probably helps if you subscribe to the channel and just keep watching these videos. Trust me, it will get easier. Also, we will edit this middle part out of the video and release it as a separate one. This is why I recommend that you subscribe to the channel, hit the little notification bell, because then when I have this smaller segment, you get a notification and you can watch this again. Diego, does this help? I know some of the things you might have to watch 2 or 3 times. I don't expect you to learn trading here in 10 minutes or half an hour. I mean, trading is a profession and it takes a few days, weeks, or sometimes even months to learn it. But the important point is, Diego, here, you will see trading is not that complicated. It is fairly logical. That's at least what I think, and it can be rather simple. So take another look at the video here. Okay, Joe, appreciate your feedback. Joe says, very interesting. Okay, glad that it helps. Lloyd is asking, the entry price for the TVTY option is not on the bid ask. No, the entry price is up here. See, there's the bid ask, and here is the entry price, right? You don't want to overpay. This is why we are giving you an entry price. You want to make sure that you're not overpaying for the option. We talked about it in detail this morning when we did the live trading as part of the masterclass here. It was fun. I mean, who was in the masterclass this morning? Who found that beneficial? If you were there, leave a comment and let me know if you liked it. I think we were going for 2 hours, and it was fantastic. I had a lot of fun. So then I had my call with my mastermind members. We had this at noon, and this is now the 3rd time that I am live talking about trading, and I'm just loving it. I'm just loving it. Okay, so Joe says it was helpful. I'm a new trader learning. Hey, stay at it. Again, you're not learning how to trade in a day. And everybody who claims that you can do this, run away. All right. So yeah, Benito says stocks versus option in a smaller account, definitely an eye opener. Good point. Animesh is asking, what about writing options? We'll talk about writing options another time. Usually you need much more in buying power that is being reduced, right? So when you're writing option, your broker is asking for much more. I'll do another video on this. Good. Edward, so good to see you here. Says definitely confirm why it's better to consider trading options on a smaller account. On a smaller account. Okay. So Derman, Andy, good point. Trading the stock gives you the ability to put the trade on autopilot with OCO, orders on exit. Absolutely, very good point, right? When you're trading options, you need to keep an eye on the market a little bit. But the cool thing is you can trade options the next day. Usually they're not running away, especially the way how I like to trade options, where I trade in the money option that have at least 30 to 45 days to expiration. But great comment, Andy. Really appreciate it. Okay, Skip is asking, what kind of options were you talking about? Were you selling them or buying them? When I'm trading according to the PowerX strategy, hint, I am buying options, right? And this is why I want to make sure that I have enough time until expiration so that I'm not running into the problem of time decay. I did a video on time decay in options, or theta in options, and I'll post a link to it in the description or probably also in the chat here, so you can take a look at this, why when you're selling options, you want to have a short fuse. When you're buying options, you want to have a long fuse, so long time to expiration. Anyhow, so Naif is asking, in a market that doesn't allow options trading, would it be okay to increase the risk to more than 2%? I personally wouldn't, and here's why. Think about it this way. What happens if you have 10 losing trades in a row? Let's actually jump here quickly on a notepad here. So let's talk about this for a moment, because I think it's important. Okay, always assume a worst case scenario. So if you have 10 losing trades in a row, and here on a $20,000 account, you would lose $400 on each trade, and this times 10 trades. So you would lose $4,000. Ouch, that's not nice, but trust me, if you lose 10 times in a row, you're doing something wrong. But you see, you're still alive and kicking. You still have $16,000 in your account. So you're not wiped out. However, the problem is, if, for example, you say, hey, I want to increase the risk to 5%. Let's see, naive. Yeah, well, what you said. So then you have 10 losing trades in a row, and you're losing $1,000 on each trade. And you have this times 10 trades. Now you lost $10,000. So you lost already half of your account. Is this making sense? This is why I recommend that you do not increase it. Nave, may I ask, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you located? Because for most parts of the world, you can trade US stocks. And even when I lived in Germany, originally I'm from Germany. When I lived in Germany, I was trading US stocks just because there's more opportunity. There are more stocks to choose from. There are more options to choose from. And you see, at first I also thought, living in Germany, I should just trade German stocks. And then I realized we only have 30 stocks in our DAX, right? And that's not a whole lot. So there's a few more, but there's maybe a couple of hundred stocks in Germany. And then in the US, you have 10,000 stocks. So Naive, I highly recommend that, even though right now you might not be able to trade options in your local market, consider trading in the United States. Okay, good. So KW is asking, do you check future indices before placing stock trades or options? Now, I usually like to check the futures the night before, so that I know where the markets might open, and I do it early in the morning. You know, some people wake up and immediately check their email or social media. I'm the kind of guy who wakes up and immediately brings up TradingView on his phone. So yes, I do have TradingView on my phone, where I see where are the futures markets before I even wake up. But it doesn't influence my decision. It's just for your information, for my information. Others, as I said, like to browse social media or their inbox. I like to take a look at the markets. Anyhow, good. Amin asked, have I heard about Marque Latimer? Yes, I heard. And if you want, on the next Coffee with Markus, I can tell you a little bit more about Marque, what I know about her. And I do believe that I've even met her in person. I'll look it up just to make sure that it was her who I met. But I do believe that I met her, and I'll share what I know about her. Good. Okay, so Alfine is asking, are small accounts that trade options a greater risk for the loss of their overall purchase power? No, not at all. You see, going back here, you don't worry about the buying power. This is what you're risking. And you see, sometimes you're risking maybe a little bit more on the option, sometimes a little bit less. But anyhow, I don't think what you're asking is the case. I'm not even quite sure if I understand the question here. Okay. So Raja is asking, when you close the trade on a black bar, do you use a limit or market order? It depends, right? I mean, if you're closing the stock trade, if you can watch the markets, I would recommend using a limit order. Yeah, you just go in between the bid and ask. But honestly, if you want to get out, you want to get out. So you can absolutely use a market order. There's nothing wrong with it. So Ricardo is asking, on your bread and butter account, which is the larger account, do you trade stocks or options? I trade stocks there. Just because it's a larger account, and I said, if you have an account of more than $100,000, it does make sense to trade stocks. There are many advantages to trading stocks over options. On a smaller account, the biggest advantage is that you're not blocking a lot of buying power, and therefore you can enter more trades. Donna is asking, can you show us how to set an alarm on interactive brokers? I cannot. Honestly, I don't know how to set an alarm on interactive brokers. You might have to Google it. I have never, ever in my life set an alarm on interactive brokers. Okay. Michael is asking, is the PowerX Optimizer set up to show selling options? Not right now, but I'm investing a substantial amount every month to keep developing PowerX Optimizer, because my goal is to make this the best software in the world. I think it already is pretty awesome. For those of you who already have PowerX Optimizer, you know what I'm talking about. And so it's probably not happening this month or next month, but sometime this year, yes, my idea is to incorporate selling options, finding the best trades according to our rules of the Theta King into PowerX Optimizer. The cool thing is, when you invest in PowerX Optimizer, all these future updates are included. So highly recommend it. It's actually pretty cool software. All right. So Tom says it's always best to see things over and over. Absolutely, I agree. This is why we're cutting out the middle part of the segment here to make sure that you can watch it again. Okay, seeing a lot of comments about the masterclass. So Iho is saying it was great. Andy says it was great. Richard says class was terrific. Thank you. Summer said we missed an entry. Yeah, because I was teaching and not as quick as I usually am. And now you know. So in the morning, be focused for 15 minutes. That's all you need. Maybe half an hour in the beginning, and you'll be just fine. Okay, so Michael is asking, do you have to configure the PowerX Optimizer if you wish to sell puts instead of buy calls? No, at this point, it's not an option yet. It will be. So, but at this point, no, you cannot configure it. Ken says, PowerX Optimizer is fantastic. Thanks for the trading structure. Plan your work, work your plan. Ken, I couldn't have said it better. So, absolutely. Okay, so I know it has been fun. It has already been 45 minutes. So you see, I'm still going back and forth a little bit. I'm not quite sure if you want to do really the full 60 minutes or 45 minutes. So today I decided to go for 45 minutes. The most important thing for me today was to explain to you the differences of when trading stocks versus options, to make it easy for you to make a decision whether it makes sense for you, for your account size, to trade stocks or options. And again, as a general rule of thumb, for account sizes smaller than $100,000, it does make sense to trade options. For an account size larger than $100,000, it does make sense to trade stocks. But again, that's a general rule of thumb. There's a lot of factors that go into your decision, and I hope that I could help to clear it up so that you know what to expect when trading stocks versus options. All right, hope that you enjoyed it. I will be back here on Wednesday. So for my mastermind members, we'll be trading live again tomorrow morning. As you know, tomorrow morning you have the coaching call. If you're part of the mastermind, I'll see you tomorrow morning. If you're watching here, Coffee with Markus will be live again on Wednesday at 3:30 Eastern time, 30 minutes before the markets close. And as it seems to work, we will be live on Facebook and on YouTube. So seems to work. If you're watching us on Facebook, congratulations, it's the second time that we are doing the dual broadcast. Anyhow, stay safe. There's a lot of scary stuff going on out there. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and make money with trading. And I'll talk to you on Wednesday. Take care.